So we have a sad story that I'm covering today. Today's the 8th, but I'm not sure what day this is going to go out on. But anyways, it's a story about how basically a girl was killed by her ex-obsessive boyfriend, essentially. And so we've got teenager Thomas Griffiths has been given a life sentence for killing his ex-girlfriend in what was described by the judge as a frenzied knife attack. So she was killed in her own home in May after ending a relationship with her boyfriend of 3 months. So they weren't even going out for that long. Griffiths, now 18, pleaded guilty at a previous court appearance, and today sentenced to at least 12 and a half years in prison, which I think is pretty tame. I think the family thought it was tame. It's pretty weak. So there's some interesting stuff here, anyways, within this story. So it's worth talking about. Not just someone obviously was killed, and I'm not trying to downplay that, but some of the takeaways I guess people have had from this, and it's quite interesting. But yeah, this guy, he should have really faced a proper life sentence, because he strangled and then he stabbed her in the neck, and then he tried to cover it up as well. So you could say that it was, whatever happened, things kicked off or whatever escalated. Well, we don't know what happened. Only he knows what happened now. Yeah, he's a scumbag. Like, he strangled her. He strangled her and then used a knife to stab her 13 times in the neck and the face. Then he returned to school. So this guy, pure scumbag, tried to cover his tracks on Snapchat, told his friends his scratches on his neck from self-harming. Imagine the goal of this guy. These attempts were described as not remotely sophisticated and were never going to work. And so her dad found the body when he came home, and it's a horrifying story. But yeah, if we go into this one a bit more detail, so Miss Gould, her mother said that Ellie was not looking for a serious relationship, but Griffiths was, and shortly before her death, his behaviour changed. So it was only in the last week that Ellie, began to spot the signs. Miss Gould said, she said he'd been acting very strange. It doesn't say specifically what the signs were, so we can only speculate, and it's probably not worth doing that because there were a lot of possible signs. And so she goes, I said to her, what are you going to do? And then Ellie said, don't worry Mum, I'll sort it. So she probably went to talk to the guy in her own home and said, look, I'm breaking up with you, and he didn't take to it very well and he killed her for it. Little did we know what he was going to the next day and do what he did. So within a day of having this conversation with her daughter, her daughter was killed. And so the interesting things that I saw with this story was that they wanted to teach self-defense lessons, which I think is not the best way to tackle this, purely because, look, he's a bigger guy, and they did say specifically that you're not talking about judo, just basic self-defense techniques. And it's like, if you have a guy coming at you with a knife, or any person coming at you with a knife, your options can be very limited. You're not going to be able to pull off a maneuver like this. This is what I'm talking about. So Eli grabs the knife, the white mamba, and he runs at Snake. Snake blocks. Then he pulls off a sweep, and then he dislocates his shoulder. Don't want to see that, it's pretty grim. But in this situation where someone comes at you with a knife or tries to strangle you, self-defense is going to be important, but is it going to be the best way to avoid the situation? Probably not. I think the best way to avoid the situation is not get into it in the first place. And there is something interesting here where they talk about Ellie's friends have also called for more education on healthy relationships and warning signs of coercive control. This is the thing that really piqued my interest, because this is the thing that's really worth doing. So maybe her friends, if they knew what to look for, would have seen the signs with this guy, how obsessive he was. And maybe teaching people or meeting people, like when you're going to break up someone in your home, maybe meet them in a public place where it's less likely he can do something like this. And so yeah, this is the thing where you could actually get something out of this, purely because if you learn to spot the signs and what to do in that situation, it's a lot better than confronting the guy in, say, your home or their home, and giving them the opportunity to do something like this. But this guy is a pure psycho anyways. So it's very possible he could have come after her even if she did break up with him in a public place. Anyways, I think it's worth looking at. I think doing self-defense is always an important thing. I think teaching people self-defense and discipline and all these things is important. But at the same time, I don't think her learning self-defense would have saved her in this instance. But I do think that I'm not blaming her in any case, but I do feel like if she dealt with it differently. But I don't want to, the important point is not to victim blame, but if you're taught how to deal with people like this creeper here, the situation might have resolved differently. None of us have a crystal ball. It's not multiverse theory, but yeah, I think it's worth teaching people about healthy relationships because I don't think that's really taught in school. And the warning signs of coercive control, because well, it's like the person who is being manipulated won't know it, but the other people around them can spot it. And if you spot it early enough, you might be able to do something about it. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.